Welcome back, or welcome to Recovering Out Loud podcast, the show where we get real about mental health and addiction. If you or someone you love is struggling, please reach out to me on any social media platform. At Recovering Out Loud Pod, you are no longer alone. Yeah, so I want to hear about that because I haven't had any. You're the first person in here to talk gambling, and I've been getting a lot of messages about it. I get a lot of people that are struggling with gambling. It's such a tough one, man, because
it's a silent killer.
It's silent killer is a perfect way to put it. It's like no one really knows that things are going south the way, say, I don't know, smoking meth does, right? I'm not tweaking out in front of people when I'm gambling. So.
My friend Louis would say, Lewis, he goes by. I have an episode coming up with him in February, but one thing he says is like he could be sitting here like after snorting oxys and like drinking a bunch of vodka, right? And you're gonna be saying like what, are you okay? Like, what's wrong with you, right? But if you're sitting here and you could have your life savings on the Yankees, no one's gonna know, right? And like he put that into really good words, so I just wanted to kind of quote him. But the way I think of it is like unless someone's seeing your pay stub or your like what's the thing, credit card statement? Yes, yeah. Unless they're seeing your statements or your bank history and stuff, like no one's gonna know until it gets real bad, right? Until it's like too late, and that's how it was for me, right? I don't know if do you got to do an intro or anything? Or are we good to just?
No,
start?
I mean I'm gonna I probably just tell us about yourself and
okay. Yeah. So for those that don't know, I'm Logan. I'm from a small town in Ontario, just 3 hours from Toronto. I think you said it would be east from here, right? West from here. It's called Chatham, Kent. And yeah, I grew up playing travel sports, had decent grades, wasn't really that big into, I wasn't getting in trouble with the cops or I was a fairly good kid, but very ADHD. So, what comes with that, bouncing off the walls, often had a hard time following rules. But I always had good intentions, and I, drinking was always, I'm sure it is in a lot of small towns in Ontario, it's just and especially as a hockey player, it's just the kind of the culture, it's the norm. You see all the parents doing it, at tournaments growing up, whatnot, right? So I was very much excited, looking forward to that. I never saw it as this. I'd seen some family members struggle with it a little bit, but I didn't really see it as that. From the beginning, it was just to have fun, right? And alcohol kind of stripped everything from me, and then I got clean and sober from that. It was not easy, but and then I started gambling.
Did you go to rehab?
Yeah, I went to I think it was 19 day. Ended up being 19 days. I think it was supposed to be 21, but I went in December 2022. I don't know if you remember. You're from Toronto, right? Mm-hmm. So do you remember how bad the weather was a couple years ago around Christmas?
Yeah. There was 20 or 30. Yes, I do remember because
we were allowed to go nowhere, right?
We were coming home from Kingston, where my in-laws are from, and we counted 24 flipped car or abandoned cars on the 401.
Right. So it was supposed to be 21 days, but when I went, they let us out after 19 because I went in December 1st or something like that. So they let us out so that we would be able to go see our families for Christmas because they were scared. There's a big snowstorm coming. And they were scared that our families wouldn't be able to come get us because some people were driving hours away, right? And the last day or two is you work at a rehab, so it's typically just commencing and kind of telling you it. Once they didn't let us leave without a set plan, but the last day or two they said was just going to be kind of one-on-ones. It was not. We had already done most of the booklet or whatever, all the curriculum. So they just let us out 1 or 2 days early, but there was a lot of resistance to go to rehab both times. I went for gambling as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I did not. That was the last thing I wanted to do both times because I was 17 when I went for alcohol. I
That's
think,
tough, dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
at the time, I don't know, like, I don't quote me now, but at the time, I had set the record for youngest person to go through there, and that place has been open for a long time. I went to Westover Treatment Center in Thamesville. Um, it was a great program, great counselors, and like yourself, like I find I've always had like I don't know, I work in the blue collar industry, so like it's never seemed realistic to me, but I've always kind of wanted to, in the meantime, with my extra time, work in a rehab if I can,
Hmm.
because I enjoy helping people. And honestly, like since I got sober, my passion for always getting that next drink or bet, it like honestly, like thank God it, like how the obsession leaves you,
Hmm.
it's like almost flipped. It didn't leave, it like flipped to like now wanting to like help people learn more about it and like like no, I'm not ashamed of this at all. I was in the beginning, but and we can talk a little bit about that. But yeah, it's kind of just a little rundown of
So
what
what?
happened.
So you
But
went to your first rehab at 17.
yeah,
What was the moment where you finally waved the white flag? Because I went at 23. My first rehab,
yeah.
I was 23, and I remember how hard that was.
So for me, it was like I was 17 years old, right? And at this point, I'm already like my liver's like already like on its way to failure. I'm in the hospital every weekend. You know, I'm I had I was a daily drinker for over a year straight. Like I couldn't remember the last time I was sober. And it wasn't just beers, like I was on hard liquor. I was past the beers. Like I didn't want to get bloated, right? Like I was a true alcoholic
Yeah.
and like I just kind of got tired of waking up and wondering where the bottle was hidden and who I had to apologize to, what I did because I did not remember. Um, and like when I tell people this, most people would think like, like this would be that waving flag moment you're talking about. But August 28th, 2022, I was leaving hockey tryouts and I was trying out for the junior C team, right? And things were pretty rocky at this time. I was like getting in, like I'd already graduated, or no, I hadn't graduated yet. So I was kind of like, I was drinking a lot at this point, and I was hiding it really well. I was like the kind of kid that like I said, I had decent grades, like I had mid 70s, 80s, like, but my sister was really high up there,
Hmm.
so I was like, I always struggled with that, like saying that I didn't have good grades, but I don't know. I had like 70s, 80s. Like I said, I had 2, 3 jobs at all times. Like from 13 years old, I started like in the cornfields, like, and then I started at Canadian Tire. And like you said, I've always had that spending issue. So I've always had like before alcohol and drugs, like I always kind of, I never could save any money. I've always had 3 jobs or 2 jobs at least, and never saved money. But I remember like thinking like, okay, as long as everything looks good, like everybody thought everything was all right, right? I had a girlfriend, I had like was driving the car to work, whatever. Like everything, I was playing hockey, travel sports, school sports too. And it was just like on that day I was leaving hockey tryouts. My car got broken into, and I remember being like all upset, right? Because this necklace that my girlfriend gave me from her father that passed away a couple years ago, I was wearing it, and I never took it off for anything. And I just, out of respect, I didn't want it to break during tryouts, so I took it off and I put it in my cup holder,
Hmm.
right? And I come back and my car's not even like the door's not even latched. It's just like, so I like already knew. I opened the door, my wallet's gone, the necklace, like everything's gone, and I'm like still searching for it, thinking it might be there somewhere. And I go in, tell the guy. Long story short, I was gonna go home and just try and figure it all out. And then what happened was the guy from the arena called me, telling me, "Oh, we see the guy on camera, right?" And I'm like already halfway home, so I call my dad, tell him, and he's like, "Oh, well, I'm with so and so. Like, you should just come here, and we'll help you figure it out." And he was at a buddy's house that is kind of a hick, and like they're riding dirt bikes, shooting guns, and drinking beers, and first thing he says to me when I get there, you can't drink, or you can't drink, right? And I'm like, this is my answer. I look at him, I say, like, what do you think, I'm stupid? Like, I'm driving, like, I'm not gonna drink. And we start trying to figure out the police report for my car, and we get all that figured out, and he says again he's gonna leave, right? And I'm hanging out with a couple of the guys, and they're all old enough, so they're all like 25, whatever, so no one's gonna tell them what to do, right? And I remember he's leaving, he's like, all right, I'm heading home, like, I'll be like, yeah, I'm right behind you. He's like, you can't drink, right? He said it again. And because at this point I'm drinking all the time, and I'm like, I was getting a little mad at him. I'm like, I said it snappy. I'm like I'm not gonna drink. Like, I'm driving. Like seriously. When then he left, and within 10 minutes I'd had 2 beers already, and that was supposed to be it. Like, that was just to cut the edge off, right? Because I'm at this point, like I said, a daily drinker, and like that was supposed to be it. And I remember walking in to go to the bathroom, and walk past a liquor cabinet, and it was like one of those, just, it wasn't even a cabinet, it was just like an open bar kind of thing, and there was just like bottles, man, of like, and I was a Jack Daniels guy, so there was like bottles, and I'm telling you, I don't know what they call them. Was it 60s, the bigger ones? What's bigger than a 2-4?
It's like 1 point something liters.
Yeah, so like there was a bunch of those, and like they're all like just barely open, right? So I'm like, no one's gonna know if I take a swig, right? And I was a liquor guy, right? So I take a swig, and you start feeling good, and like I said, that's supposed to be it. And you know how it is, alcoholics, you start feeling good, you want to feel better, go back for more, and that's the last thing I remember. And the next thing I remember is trying to pull my arms apart and realizing, like, these cuffs are like not coming off. Like, why is this hurt? This is not a dream. Like, then I start hearing voices, the cops talking, and I'm like, oh my, like, this is real. Like, and then blackout again. Don't remember anything else. And so the next day I wake up, and it's like hearing everything, right? Like, I ended up leaving someone's house, pulling into a gas station that was like 2 or 3 minutes away. It took me 45 minutes to get there, and I ended up rolling the Jeep, kept driving. Then I pulled into the gas station, I fell out of the Jeep, went in to like order food or something. Like, I didn't even pump gas, and she like took my keys because she knew I was drunk, so she like saved my life. Today I know that like God used her to save my life, right? And like, I'm thankful for that today. And like, I just know that like I shouldn't even be alive right now. Like, I blew 3 times the legal limit, don't remember a second of it. Rolled the car, kept driving. Like, there was gravel marks like on top. I was on a gravel road, and there were scratches all over the top of the car. Like, you would think you would remember if you rolled the car, right? And like, the frame's like bent, and like I wake up, and they're like asking me like where did you go? Like, you must have. And I'm like lying, like, I didn't drink while I was there. I'm trying to tell them like some made up lie that like, oh, I was drinking before, like, because I didn't want to admit that I had stolen this person's alcohol, right?
Yeah.
And
that ego comes in, right?
I'm like I just rolled a car, got arrested, and I'm worried about telling them that I
stole someone's liquor.
Yeah, man. Like, so forever, and like for the longest time, like, it was the most complicated story, right? And eventually, like, so that happened in August, and I kept drinking like after that. And this is like in the middle of the school week, like, I just go to school the next day like nothing happened, right? My parents like forced me, like, they're not letting me miss school, right? And I gotta like put on that mask and pretend like everything's okay, like I had been for the last 2 years. But at this time it was like a lot harder, and because the girlfriend's like finally like gonna leave this time because like you really screwed up. And like, she was my person. Like, I met her in grade 8, and this was grade 10, I think, close to grade 11. And like, I remember just like everything that my parents said was going to happen started happening. Like, I lost my license, and as a result of that, had to give up hockey and lacrosse because like I played out of town. How am I going to ask my dad to drive me all the time, right? And then, yeah, like I I was driving to school every day, driving to hockey. So like I lost that privilege, lost the ability to go drive to my girlfriend's, which she lived like over 30 minutes away. So like every time we wanted to hang out, it was either the girlfriend's coming to pick you up, or, she's doing all the driving, or I'm having to ask my parents again at 17, 18 years old. And, but to go back to the drinking, it was just like, even that didn't stop me, man. Like, I did that, and I remember I kept drinking. Like, liver's like screaming at me. Like, I'm wondering why. Like, what's the problem here? I'm going in for CT scans, all this stuff, wondering, and I'm not telling them that I'm drinking this much, right? So they're like looking at my appendix, trying to figure out what's wrong, right? And I just remember I kept drinking, and then the final thing that really got me was I woke up, and my mom's like, you better apologize to your aunt. And I'm like genuinely, I'm like, for what? Like, I had no clue, like not a single clue what I did. And I remember she told me, and it was somebody in my family's birthday, and like I had showed up to the family gathering, and I was sober when I got there and not sober when I left. And come to find out, like, that they had taken pictures of the liquor before I got there versus after I got there. Like at 17, they're doing this kind of stuff. And I'm like, this all just like clicked in my head. I'm like, okay, like because she would always throw it in. Like, my mom, like, works in the mental health and addictions. So she would always throw in like, do you want to, like, do you think it's time to go to detox? Like, I think you should go. And I'm like, every time I'm just like, no. And this time when she said it, I was just like, okay, like, because I was like not remembering what I had to apologize for. That wasn't like a irregular thing. Like, that was normal. Like, there's like so many scars I have on my body that like I don't even remember what they're from, and I had to like lie and like keep lying and lying and lying because my lies made no sense, right? And I just kind of got tired of running, I guess you could say, and I guess I wasn't really set on quitting. I was just like, if this is gonna get you to stop like sobbing and telling me that I need to, then sure, I'll go. And I just started like packing my stuff, right?
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, myself definitely, I've been to rehab 3 times, and all 3 times it was to get the heat off originally, right? I think a lot of people start with external circumstances. I'm going to lose my marriage. I'm going to lose my, that was my case.
It wasn't for me in the beginning.
Yeah. And I think it's okay if that gets you in the door, but at some point I had to make that, this is for me now, right? And so what was that moment for you?
So when I was sitting in detox, right, and I'm a Christian, so like when I talk about this, I say this is like when God like made it real to me the first time I heard his voice. Like, I was coming inside from like a smoke break outside because I vape, and that's like my last crutch. I'm trying to get off of it, but I was coming inside, and like my high school was right across from the detox.
Oh boy.
Right. So, and they like, there was complaints about it because like other people had struggled with this, where it's on a busy road, right? And like it's supposed to be confidential that you're there, right? And I'm walking outside, and I see a group of my friends walking down the street to the pizza shop, and I'm like, I have to put my hood on and turn the other way, right? And I'm like coming inside, and then I go right to my room because I'm all upset, right? Thinking like all my buddies are doing this, and here I am sitting in a detox. Like, so I'm looking out the window, and I'm thinking like I shouldn't be here. Like, maybe I'm just like drinking wrong, or like I can figure this out. Like, like I can have one or two. What are they talking about? And then like bang, like that, like this voice in my head is like, it just started like flooding my head with, not only it was telling me like, because I was also thinking a lot of like dark stuff too. I was thinking like what have I done with my life, first of all? Like, my life's so far gone. Like, I'm sitting in a pretty much a jail cell right now, like, and I was thinking like, this voice came in my head, and it was like, like I'm not too far gone. Like if I just give my life to God, like anything is possible. That's exactly what I heard. And then I started to think like the opposite. I was like, okay, wait, like you don't end up in a detox at 17 for no reason. Yeah, think about that. Your friends are across the road going for pizza and you're in a detox. Like, stop taking that as like you're the victim.
Poor me.
And
Yeah.
think that like maybe you're the problem, right? Like maybe it is time. And from that moment, I have not picked up a drink.
Nice.
And it's been 3 years, couple months. And like, but when I got out of detox, I was like, I'm fixed. Like, they just introduced me to my problem. And I was right when I got out of detox, I started going to AA like two times a day, or once a day at least, because I was in school still. So I'd go to school and then I'd go to AA at night, and I'm like the youngest guy in there by far, right? But like I said, I'm like, I don't want to go to rehab. Like I got school, I got a job, I got a girlfriend. Like, what do you mean I gotta go for 20 days now? Like I just went for 5 days. What do you mean? And but then I like signed myself up just in case. Like I did the whatever it's called, the application. And when the spot got open, I was like, you know what? Like everything that I was learning at AA and all these, like, for me, the opposite of addiction is connection. And like as soon as I was, kept connected with like-minded people, other alcoholics and addicts in that detox, I was like, I felt not alone. And I was like, I didn't feel ashamed anymore, because like before that point I felt like why am I acting like this? Like there's something must be wrong with me, and I'm like, no one's gonna understand, right? And the second I went in there and people started saying like, me too, like, or they would say something and I could relate to it, and it's like, wait a second, like maybe there are people like me, and it's not a bad thing. I can't drink or I can't do drugs, right? And because like drugs wasn't really my issue, but like I smoked weed here and there, and like one didn't go without the other, and you know what I mean. And it's like I don't know. Like once I went to rehab, I always used to think that saved my life, but they would tell me like, no, like we gave you your choice back and you did the work to save your life. And so every time I go there, I always thank them for like giving me a safe place to get sober, because I could not do it out there. Like as long as like alcohol was accessible to me, like I was not going to be able to do it. Even when my parents like locked everything out of the house, stayed home with me, I still found a way to like do something, right? And like I moved mountains to get alcohol.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I went to rehab, like I didn't want to do the work really, but it was very like I just did it because I knew I had no other choice. Like I was like the whole car, like the DUI, the way I was feeling in my stomach, like just, and then my girlfriend was like finally gonna leave. Like she was like, I was always able to like sweet talk her back into
Manipulate.
it. Yeah. Everybody like, I always like to say, it's like I had a bunch of dominoes or something and they were all scattered. I would always line them up perfectly and get everything back in order. And then as soon as like things started to go okay, I would kick them all over again. And this time she was like, she had had enough. So I was like trying to like, show her that I could get better. And like you said, I wasn't really doing it for myself, but in a way I was, because in order to keep her, I had to be a better man, right? And then once I started thinking that, and she started telling me, like you have to do it for yourself, like I can't be the reason. Then I started thinking, you know what, like without alcohol or drugs, like what am I, like what are my hobbies now? Like nothing. Like what do I like to do? Nothing. Like I was like, that I don't like that about myself. So I had to find myself. Like I had to learn how to talk to people, learn how to, because before that everything was based off of like drugs or alcohol, pretty much.
The crutch, right?
Yeah. And especially with COVID, like I'm not sure if you were using or drinking during COVID.
I stayed sober through all of COVID somehow.
But during COVID, like that was typically like for high school kids and stuff, like, and like that was all we could really relate on, because we weren't allowed to leave our house. So like we would talk about, or if we were hanging out, like we would have to do something exciting and fun, which was get drunk or high.
Interesting.
So I got to this point where like I realized that I didn't go anywhere or hang out with anybody like without doing drinking or smoking weed. And I was like, when was the last time I like, you know, just went for a walk with my girlfriend or like did something like that I do today that I like brings me so much happiness that I like completely ignored for the first however long I was drinking and stuff, right? But yeah, and then the gambling, like I don't know, like we can touch a little bit more on the drinking. I don't know how much time we have.
Yeah, no,
but
I want to comment on, I think you said, I can relate a lot to what you said, specifically with the moment of clarity, right?
Yeah.
I think, you know, I've been in recovery for 10 years and I managed to get together 8 years and I relapsed after that. So I learned a lot. Every single rehab I went to, all 3 of them, it was a different experience in that it taught me something different about myself.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about, you know, the rehab just gives us a choice back. Because I absolutely 100% agree with that. They give you the choice. They also give you a set of tools that you can pick up or throw out the fucking window.
And that's the choice, right?
And that's the choice, exactly. For me today, I have a choice between, I'm a spiritual person.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself a religious person, but I call my higher power God.
Yep.
I have a choice to choose God or to choose not to choose God, really.
Yeah.
That's kind of the two ways. It's really simple for me today. I like that. It took me a while to get there, but my life is a lot easier when I live according to that principle.
Yeah.
When you talked about your high school across the street, I can really relate to my last bottom this time was I was surfing in hotels and Airbnbs because my wife kicked me out of the house.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in the lobby of that hotel and watching all the normal people check in and check out. And I was getting kicked out because I couldn't afford to stay there anymore. I had all my drugs scattered all over the hotel. It was a mess. But that was my moment where it was like, I still had all my drugs. I could have went probably for another week if I just found somewhere else to go. But I had that incomprehensible, pitiful demoralization.
The one that you can't like.
You just can't wrap your mind around the current situation. You're like, how did I get here? How did this happen? And I'm a piece of shit because look at all these normal people. So it's like, I can really relate to that. It's like you see life happening across the street and you're in your own reality over here.
It's like, that's not what's happening for me.
Right.
Like I was not
You're not in reality.
I was not doing what other 17-year-olds were doing. Not even close.
And that's that moment of clarity where it's like, I think everybody has to get to, and it's different for everyone. It's and that's why I believe it's a timing thing. It's a spiritual thing. It's for you, it was a voice, right? For me, it was just like maybe it was a voice, but it was also just a moment of, okay, like I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I don't want to manipulate, plan, lie, cheat, steal my way into the next high. Because that's what I was doing. I was just like wiggling around trying to find ways to safely use without people judging me at the end. That was really it. And where I could still have fun or be free or whatever. So that's interesting to me. And I think that it's different for everyone. It's a timing thing. There's no, you know, you can flip a car and still not get sober. Or you can kill 10 people and still not get sober. Or you can, I don't know, go lose your job and get sober, right? Like just from that. And it's different for everyone. It's all subjective. So,
and one thing, like, I'm sure you said you work in a rehab, so I'm sure you get this a lot, but like people will ask, like, or they'll come to me and they'll tell me about somebody that's struggling that's close to them, and they'll be like, what can I do to help them? And it's like, unfortunately, like you can support them, you can be a light for them, and maybe try and like offer like rehab or detox or stuff like that at their low points, but that's about it. There's not much you can do, and you like that person needs to have that moment of clarity, like you said, in order, like they have to say, you know what, I'm done. Like for me, I was sick and tired of like being sick and tired, wondering where that bottle was, you know, and the same thing happened with gambling. Like I had to lose like literally almost everything and more. And like I still like you said, for most people, when they go to rehab, they're still not like fully accepting it. Like when I first went to rehab for gambling, like the first 3 days I was there, I'd fully planned to still gamble when I left.
So walk us through that. How old are you? So you're sober, and as a lot of us do, we look for other things to fill that hole, right? How does that happen?
So I got sober and I didn't get a sponsor till about like six months, 7 in. But I was very connected. Like I was going to lots of AA meetings. I probably did 120 meetings, 90 days. Like I did way more than what was suggested. Um, but I started, and that went on for a while. Like in church, like I started going to church again, getting closer to God, and like that started, or that went on for a while. Sorry, probably till around the 2 year mark, and then I got a job in the carpenters union, and moved out of my parents' house moved into London, which is an hour away from home. And I started making better money than I had. I was working at a cabinet shop before that, and I was making better money with the union. And like my 18th birthday passed, and I didn't even like. I'm pretty sure that's the age you can buy a scratch ticket, right? Like I didn't even do that because I just saw no point. Like I was like, I've liked everything I've tried so far. And I've said this out loud before I had ever gambled. I'd said, like I just don't, because if I win, I'm probably gonna get hooked.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just one day after going to London for work and staying there, hanging out with some different friends, and stopped going to AA because the meetings in London weren't like they were in Chatham, and I made an excuse. I think it was because they say when you relapse, the meetings are usually the first thing to go, and it's because, or they say like the second you think you got it, like that's when you slip. And like I didn't have this conscious thought that I got it, but like I remember leaving that meeting in London being like, okay, like I'm just not gonna go, like whatever, like I'll go when I go home on the weekend, and that never happened, right? Because I was seeing the girlfriend or doing this, and it was just like, I don't know, like 2-3 months, one meeting probably, and like that was not, like I said, I was doing, when I was doing 2 a day, and like at least one every night, or at least 3 out of the 5 nights. Like I was doing a lot of meetings, and then I just kind of cut it off, and it didn't go to shit right away. But one night where after work, I'm already kind of given more money than I know what to do with, because I'm in the union, I'm a carpenter, like it pays well. And I remember sitting there like having bills and stuff as well though. So like I'm getting good pay, but I'm also paying a lot of bills. Not like a lot, but what I considered a lot, because I had just moved out. And I remember my buddies were just like playing on their phone online slots, like, and I had never even heard of it, like seen it. I seen the sports betting, but I didn't know you could play slots on your phone. And these guys were like, I just tried it. Like it was like $20, and I was like, this is harmless. Like I still had a bunch of money, and I remember winning like $100 right away. And I was thinking like, damn, like I like this. That's like my gas tank only costs $60 to fill. So I'm like, sweet, like this is like another source of income for me. And I remember like I didn't notice right away, but looking back, my friends were like looking at me like, why isn't he stopping? Because I would just keep saying like one more, and I would lose, and I would just say one more. And like, not, like I said, not right away, but within a week or two, I was doing it all day, blowing my whole paycheck. Very early on, like I remember, sorry, I should say this first. Very early on, like before I was doing it every day, I went to the actual casino once, and I just brought $20 because, like I said, I didn't even really know how slots worked. Um, so I just walked up to a machine with one of my friends, and I knew nothing about it, just picked one and walked up to it, put my 20 in, and then someone said my name, and I looked over and started talking, because I'm, like I said, ADHD. So I look over, start talking, and I went to go hit the lowest bet, and I hit the third or fourth button, and it was like, I don't know, like $3.25 a spin, and it triggered. Like first time I hit the button, it went off the bonus, and I won like $600.
Wow.
And like I remember after that, I was like trying to go to Windsor every weekend to see my buddy to go to the casino, and I remember playing it on my phone. Like I said, now I'm like playing it all day, every day. Like first thing when I wake up, I'm like, because I can turn, like I owe for rent, so I can turn $20 into 300 in 2 seconds. Like I was playing Sweet Bonanza 1000. So fast forward a little bit, like I said, I'm blowing my full paycheck, and I'm going to work in Oakville for 4 days, making $1,500, and an hour after it's deposited into my account, it's either multiplied by like 5 or 10, or it's completely gone and more. Like max out my credit cards. Applied for multiple credit cards so that I could gamble on them to hopefully win back. But yeah, that started, like, I'd say, I don't know exactly when it started, but I got sober, or I stopped doing that May. Like I stopped gambling May this year. So
Nice.
it would have been, and I gambled for a total of about, in between 10 months and a year. Blew, I think, in between 110, 120 grand.
Wow.
And like I said, I had maxed out every credit card I could get my hands on. Took out every loan I could get from a money mart, or whatever they call them, the payday advances. I got to the point where, like, I was like, I struggle to say this out loud, but it's the truth. So I would pretend that I was playing this game on my girlfriend's phone, but in reality, I was sending myself money off her account. And like, I would steal from Peter to pay John, right? And I just borrowed and borrowed and borrowed. If I knew you and like you had money, like I was asking you to borrow money, and I would pay you back double on payday, or because I knew I was gonna hit, right? And that happened quite a few times. Buddy would lend me $20-$30, and I'd turn $20-$30 into $5,000, and I'd pay him back like that day, double, and then I'd be balling for a couple days. Like near the end, it was like, it wasn't all like, yeah, it was all bad, but like it was like I would win a bunch of money, take it all out in cash, because I knew that if it was in my bank account, then I would just deposit it again. So I'd take it out in cash, so that way, if I wanted to play with it, I had to drive to the bank. I had to think a little harder. But then near the end, I was like driving to the bank 7 times a day.
Yeah.
And I was like winning, like I said, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and I would take it all out in cash, be like living financially free for a few days, but I wouldn't pay off my credit cards. I wouldn't pay back any of the money I owed. I would just, like, I have money now, I can relax. And then, like, slowly, like 2-3 days, by the end, it was like same day, $5,000 would go right back in, just as quick as I wanted. It was gone. And I remember, like, near the end, the breaking point for that was like I said, I owed every credit card I could get my hands on. Stealing money from my parents, like any money that was left around me, you couldn't even leave like quarters on your table. Like, cause I would go to the bank with quarters, dimes, nickels, and like deposit enough just so I could get $5 to spend. Right? Cause I could turn, like, one day, I didn't even have enough for like a Big Mac in my account. Like, and like if I wanted to, like, it was like negative something was in my account, and like I said, all my credit cards are maxed. My mom's got me signed out of my online banking, so we went to the bank, got my like banking like literally like locked out. So even if I tried to change the password, whatever, it wouldn't even let me in. In order to get that back, I had to like go to the bank one day, sneak off to the bank on break one time at work, and so the girl had to like call the office, and we had to like do all the stuff to get my banking back up, and then I could gamble away, right? And yeah, my mom would like change my passwords, lock me out. I would give her all my cards, and then soon as like she went to sleep, I would like reset all my passwords. And I knew she was gonna text me in the morning, being like why? But I knew that like all I wanted was that little bit of time to gamble, and like I didn't care about the consequences at all.
Yeah.
Like I knew I was gonna get caught stealing money from whoever, and like I still did it. And like I said, the one day I didn't even have enough to go get a coffee if I wanted to, and I got these free spins from the app that I was on, and they're offering me trips and stuff because I'm losing so much money, right? And I don't realize it, but like it's kind of like the movies, like, you know, like they say, oh, you can get your room comped, or you can like all this stuff, but how am I gonna go for a free week to Cabo? Like, but I'm not gambling, right? Like I can't pay rent, but I just got a trip to Mexico.
So the apps offer that?
Oh
Like
yeah,
if you're
yeah. Like
really, eh?
I was like level 1,000 on this one app, and I was like, once you get up to like those high levels, it takes like like picture a video game. Like as you level up your character, the higher the level, the harder it is to level up. So I'm like still level 1,000. Like at 980, it's like it takes like probably 20 grand to level up. Like in losing, right? Like in buy-ins, and yeah, like I said, they're offering me all this stuff. I'm getting all this money back at the end of the week, blah blah blah, and I'm like looking at my wagered, how much money I wagered for the first time ever. Like I didn't even know you could look at it on this app. I had tried before, but I couldn't find it. And then one day I found it, and it was like multiple $1 million I had moved around in like under 4 months. Because like I said, I would ban myself, or my mom would find out, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm not on those apps anymore." But I'd find a new one, and this one that I had found was like gives you free spins every week, offers you like all this stuff, right? And the one day, like every weekend, it would give you free spins, and typically I'd only win like $1, $2, whatever. This time I won $7, and I turned that $7 in like an hour or two into like 13 grand, I think. And like that was the most money like I had ever had in my hand at one time, and I didn't even get to withdraw at all because like they have like limits on how much you can withdraw per day and stuff like that, and it only let me withdraw so much. And I'm like, knowing that if I keep this money in my bank, or if I withdraw it, sorry, if I keep it in the account, then I'm going to play with it, right? But I can't withdraw it because the bank was closed that day. And I didn't want my mom to like see it in the account, because she would just, you know, take it or use it for what it was actually needed for, like to pay back my bills and stuff. I wouldn't actually get that money that I won. So I just like waited. I was going to wait till the bank opened in the morning and then withdraw it, go take it all out in cash like I always do. And I remember like having this thought that like, okay, well, like I'm screwed because the bank's not open, so I can't take this money out. I can't control myself, and like, what am I gonna do? And I like text my friend. I'm like, hey man, like I just won a bunch of money. Can you come hang out with me? Because like there's a really good chance if I'm by myself, like it's not gonna be here in the morning. He's like, yeah, dude. Like, how much did you win? Blah blah blah. I told him, and he's like, okay, just text me when you're done dinner. I'll come over. And then I like put my phone on D&D right after I ate. Went to my room with the intent on playing like one more hand and just like getting to 15, right? And within 30 minutes, it was back to zero. Back like I didn't even when I had that money, I could have paid off my credit cards. Could have, you know, at least paid back one of the loans I took out, or. But no, I blew that all right away, and then kept going, kept searching for instantly. As soon as it was done, I started looking for money. Like, where else what can I sell? Pawned my Xbox, my guitar, everything I had, like my speakers, like everything that I had nice. I went to the pawn shop, sold it for like dirt cheap, gambled that money away like that, and then was like, why did I do that? Like, now I don't have an Xbox. Now I don't have this. Now I can't play my guitar.
Yeah. But to your point, it's like, I'll deal with that later. That's such a common thought that in addiction, I found for me at least, was like, sweep it under the rug. This is tomorrow Anthony's problem, right? But today I'm going to get what I want, right? Is there a difference between the thought process that goes through your mind when you lose a bunch and when you win a bunch? Like, is there a difference between, because the outcome is the same every time.
Yeah.
You don't stop, right?
Yeah.
So
and that's what I realized.
What's the thought process behind it?
I think it's
like if you had to put it into words.
Like you're trying to ask like what's the motivation behind
how do you convince
it
yourself to keep going?
Okay.
Because I know there's justification. Yeah, there's a whole monkey wheel going on back there, right?
It's like I just tell myself that like next time is gonna be different, right? Like this next spin, or I'm due, right? Like I would always tell myself I had what they call cognitive distortion. I'm sure you've heard of that, but what that is where you like you can believe, like you believe things that are like like proven to like not be true, or like there's like absolutely no proof that that is true, or that, like the most ridiculous things I would come up with in my head to like keep me going. I'm like I got to the point where I was like driving and gambling, like not even looking at it, just based off the sound, right? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, like I've lost this much, right? So it's gonna hit this time, right? It has to. They have like these numbers every time you play an online slot. Even most regular slots, there's numbers, like there's percentages of like, it's called RTP, return to player. Um, so most of these games I'm playing are like they're like supposedly 95% return to player. So that means 95% of what like the time that you're playing, you should be getting your money back, which is like not accurate.
Yeah.
But like I'm thinking like I said, every now and then I would hit, like I would be on my very last like $20 or my last buy-in like that I could do or afford, and it would hit for big. So I was like, I had myself convinced that like, I don't know, that like for some reason this next one was going to be big. And like I said, very early on I hit like this one win for $20 I put in for 10 spins, and it was like some multiplier thing, and like I won like 6 or 7 grand. And like I said, I've never seen that kind of money in my life because I've always had that spending issue that we talked about. As fast as money comes in, it seems to go out. And at least today it's on not things that are negatively impacting my life. I definitely would love to save more money, but I think in the time it was like, if $20 hit for 6 grand, what is $200 gonna hit for? And I got to the point where I was doing $2,000 buy-ins, like $2,000 for 10 spins, and I'd get $100 back, and I'd be like, it's gotta hit, man, and I'd do it again, and then nothing, and like I'd go through like 10 grand and like that
Minutes. Yeah.
and like once I realized how fast I was going through the money, I was like, this is like I'm gonna be homeless like tomorrow if I don't stop.
It's sort of, it's, from this side of it, when you're kind of clear and you're out of the illusion that we were in, right? It's the same with addiction. It's the same thing. You're in this illusion where you're just making up your own outcomes and your own circumstances, and this is the way it is, like you said. But from this side now that you sit on it, you really start to realize, at least from my perspective, apps like Instagram, apps like TikTok, apps like the ones you're mentioning, they're developed, programmed, fine-tuned for us to stay on them, right? And so it's like, because as I'm hearing you talk, it's like, yeah, there's a room full of fucking engineers making this app up so that you don't stop, that you don't give up, you don't cash out. Perfect example, I can't withdraw all my money. Let's keep them here another day because that's going to, right? So even for the person that's not predisposed to addiction, it's a recipe for success for them and failure for us, right? Yeah. It's random. But that's the funny thing is, you see these commercials, gambling is random. That's kind of what keeps you going too, though. Because if it's random, that means I can win $30,000 in one hit.
And like the one thing that like really got me was like all these you see like, I don't know, you obviously probably have a personal account other than your recovery account. So like you can see, like I barely go on that account now because the algorithm is like, it's so bad. Like I'll see one thing that piques my interest and I'll press on his page. He's sponsored by Rainbet.
Yeah, that's a big thing now. Yeah.
It's like, for me, that's what they were offering me, was sponsorships.
Really?
Right? To go to Mexico, all I had to do was stream or whatever, right?
Yeah, and you see some of these streamers, man, it's dark, right?
No,
I've
right?
seen some of them.
And I was like wrapped into this, like I wanted what this guy had that I was looking up to. I'm not going to say his name. I don't want to give him any attention, but I was like, this guy would like, he started out like just like a college kid, right? And very quickly he was like, had Lamborghinis, like this, that, money. And he was like, I would always watch his videos, and like that was one thing that kept me coming back. And then another thing was like you said, there's all these things that keep you, like they're designed to keep you on it. So like now that I'm thinking and I'm like looking back at it, it's like there were days when like I wasn't even supposed to get free spins, and they just like popped up in my account.
Yeah.
Or like I remember days where I had no money and $40 would just show up in my account. Or like not my bank account, my gambling account. Like
crazy.
Like, and
so corrupt, man.
I don't want to out myself. I won't say which app, but like I had found a way to like I said, my credit cards, everything maxed out, right? So, but if I deposited $1 at a time on this one website, it would work, and I would go check my bank. Nothing would come out, and nothing bad ever came from it. But I remember like it would let you do it like 20, 30 times before it would like catch on and be like, you've done too many deposits today, blah, blah, blah. And every day I'd get like this free 20, 30 bucks. And that was like what kept me coming back, because I knew I could get a free 20 bucks, right? Money that I didn't actually have in my account. If I wanted to, I could just hit withdrawal and take that. I could deposit $1 10 times or 20 times, whatever, and withdraw that 10 bucks, and it would go into my bank account.
Crazy.
If I wanted to. But I would always just gamble it and hope to turn that 20, 30 that I got into enough to pay Joe and Jim and Jeff back, right?
Once I get that, then, you know, once I pay this, then it'll be good. And
until it's like I said, I owed credit cards, money marts, parents, girlfriend, friends. Like I had nowhere left to go. Everybody. I owed everybody. And like I'm getting notices from my insurance that like they're gonna terminate my insurance, and
you're missing payments.
And I'm like starting to miss payments, right? And I'm like, okay, well, like I said, when I went to like they signed me up for like this therapy that like specializes in gambling addiction and what's it called?
Like CBT or something?
Digital dependency too.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, yes. So
I've
social
done
media
CBT.
addiction.
Yeah. So I went to this one therapist, and she kept offering the residential thing. She would tell me that like a lot of people like need to go to the in-person because like they're surrounded by, but I think what she was getting at was like, if I have my phone with me, like there's nothing going to stop me because like.
You need to go to rehab, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I'm 20, right? So no one's going to tell me like, you know, you can't have your phone or like, but that was the only thing that was going to stop me was like taking it away from me and like doing the work. Because like you said, I don't think it was the same thought process, but like that, all the problems within that I thought I had dealt with when I went to rehab for alcoholism were like the same reasons when I went to again. And it was like the second time I actually had to like look at them and do something about it. Cause like I thought I was doing something about it before, but the second I disconnected myself, I reached for something else. And like for a long time, like I would say at least 3 months, I knew what I was doing was like leading me to a like either jail cell or death, to be honest, because there was many days I woke up and I like realized what I had done, or like I'd snapped out of it and I'm like, holy shit. Like, and I wanted to like, I didn't want to kill myself, but I didn't want to live anymore the way I was living. I was like, if this is the way it's going to be, like, what's the point? Like, if you can't get it together, Logan, like, what's the point? Like, you're screwing everyone over, and like like I genuinely was just making things worse for like literally everybody around me and myself. And then when I went to rehab, like I said, for the first 3 days, I was gambling the hour before I went in there. And like, hold on, I'm peeing, like trying to win money. For what? Like, what do you need money for, motherfucker? You're going to rehab.
So sorry, just to cut in quickly, you didn't pick up a drink in this whole time?
No, I never went back to drinking.
Were you scared about that at all?
I was
like, did you
like a couple times, like I never genuinely thought about it, but I was like, a few times I had said, like, when it got really bad, like a big fight with my girlfriend, like she's like, oh, like when she would say I'm gonna leave or something, like I'd be like, well, you know where I'm going. Like I would just hint at it, right? I would never, but I never did. No, the closest I ever got to it was at prom. I accidentally picked up, me and my girlfriend both had Yetis. I accidentally picked up hers, and second I like looked up, realized there's no ice. I like put it back down, and I was like, kind of got upset. Because I don't know. Like she's usually pretty good. She won't even leave her cup near mine because if they look the same, like you know how it is, right?
Yeah.
You would hate to accidentally drink the
I
wrong
have.
cup.
I've done it before.
Yeah,
And
and
in the 8 years that I had, I did it, and I didn't think twice about it. I mean, it scared the shit out of me, but I was in recovery long enough where I had heard people tell me about stories, and they're like, it's not a relapse if you accidentally drink. It's what you do after, right?
yeah,
And I remember I told somebody, so yeah, it's happened to me.
yeah.
It's scary though. It is.
Like I said, like I picked it up and it almost touched my lips. I realized there was no ice, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but yeah, no, never picked up a drink. Doesn't mean I haven't thought about it. There's been nights where I've like, even after gambling, like after I got stopped gambling, like recovery's hard, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's been some days where I leave the driveway fully intending on throwing it all away, and then right away, like 10 seconds, it only takes me 10, 15 seconds usually before I like play that tape forward, and I'm like, you know where this is going to lead you, right?
Every single time.
Like very quickly, like, and I know, like, if I were to went and pick up a drink, like when I'm heading there to throw it all away, I'm going to get a 40 or a 60.
Yeah.
I'm
Not having a beer.
not
Yeah.
going to get a 6-pack. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to throw everything
I'm the
away.
same, I know.
And I'm going to, like, I'm probably, if I drink that 60, like my plan would be pretty deadly, right? Like, and I'm just very thankful for like the tools that I got in recovery, the ability to, you know, play that tape forward. And I'm surrounded, like I'm so grateful for the support system I have. I have like great parents that supported me through all that, like especially the gambling addiction, and my girlfriend as well. Like most people, you would look at them and be like, or sorry, most parents would look at their kid and be like, I don't care who you are, you're not gonna treat me like that. You're not, like, family doesn't treat family like that, right? And they had said that to me a couple times, and that's what really clicked it in my head, was like, you're right. Like,
I'm blessed. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
like
me
I have
too.
literally everything around me waiting for me to just take action, and I'm like throwing it all away because I want to either drown myself in this bottle or
Maybe hit
a jackpot that's
Yeah.
not even gonna like, when I hit near the end, like hit big for 6, 7, 8, I'm like, sweet, another hour. That's literally my thought.
Yeah, you just
Like,
bought yourself another
yeah,
hour.
I was like, cool, another day of people not asking me for money. Um, like I knew that like I was not gonna stop until I hit zero.
Yeah.
And then when I started, like I mentioned, like I had sticky fingers when I hit zero, I would start looking for money elsewhere, and that's what really scared me, because I was like, eventually, like I'm gonna screw the wrong person here, and I'm either gonna end up dead or in jail, and eventually I'm not gonna hit that win that I'm gonna be able to pay back before they notice or whatever, right? Like I did a lot of like screwing people over, and I like feel terrible about it today, but what I've been taught in recovery is like I've made my amends, and I've repented for my sins, and like these people forgive me, God forgives me, why can't I forgive myself? Right? I'm the last person that's like holding on to it. Like I look at my parents, and like sometimes I'll go up to my mom and I'll just like tear up, and I'll look at her and I'll be like, because I'll just look at her and remember some of the stuff I did while I was drinking, and I'm like, I'll just look at her and say, I'm sorry, like, and she'll be like, for what? And I'm like, I'll tell her like what I'm thinking, and she'll be like, I haven't thought about that in years.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, one of the things that keeps me sober today is like, my mom came up to me a little while ago and was like, Logan, I could finally sleep at night. And like, I didn't realize, like I said, I thought it was like, it's my money. Like, I'm not affecting anybody else, until I was like taking money. But like, in the beginning, it's my money. Like, I'm not hurting anybody else. Don't worry about me. It's my body. Like, if anything, I'm only hurting myself. Like blacking out and stuff, I never saw an issue with that. Like, that was a regular occurrence for me. Near the end, I'd have like a couple Bud Lights or a couple Busch Lights, and I wouldn't even remember what I did that night. Like, it was bad. And like I said, also, near the end, I didn't even want to drink beer. It was like I just wanted the Jack Daniels or whatever had the highest percent of alcohol in it is what I wanted. And like, because I felt like if I didn't, you know, hit the floor or like run out of booze, I didn't hit my full potential. And like even today, if I were to go back, like I know, like I'm not having one. Like I don't want one. I never wanted one.
Same.
never had one. Like from very early on, like I don't think I've ever just had a couple and called it quits. Maybe I called it quits while the buddies were there, and then as soon as they left, I figured something out because I wasn't going to bed sober. Wasn't even gonna cut the grass sober. Like I would figure something out. I was slugging back 5 tall boys in like 5 minutes just to get a buzz so that I could cut the grass before Dad got home. And I'd be like running back in the house after like trying to not throw up everything I just drank, and he's pulling in the driveway, and I'm like coming in the door at the same time he is, and then I like put on that mask again, and like I was functioning, alcoholic addict, gambling addict. I was functioning through all of it. Like I had the ability to like everything's fine while I'm around you, but then like behind closed doors, like I said, I didn't even want to be alive or keep living the way I was living. But I've lost a lot of friends to suicide through addiction. Like before I got sober, before I came into the world of recovery, I lost my great grandpa and a friend to cancer, and that's it. Since I came into recovery, like so many funerals, man, so many funerals, and close people in my life that like I would have considered brothers. And like today, I just realized that like when you kill yourself, I don't know who said this. Like I don't want to steal anybody's quote, but somebody said this. But I heard it. It was when you kill yourself, you don't end the pain, you transfer it. And that like I felt that. Like if I were to just take the easy way out, and I don't even have the balls to do any of that, like to jump in traffic or something. Like I don't even know. Like that stuff all scares me. Like and to just imagine the pain that would inflict on like the people that I love. Like it's just so selfish in my opinion. Like I'm not saying people that do it are selfish. I'm just saying for me to do it in the moment, I would have just felt like that was the selfish thing to do and easy way out, like I said.
Yeah, you can't quantify the amount of pain that it causes for the amount of time it causes. You just don't know what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
I want to land the plane here with this. People that are struggling with gambling, like what helps you? What did you learn in rehab to help you stay sober from gambling? And what helps you today? Like how do you not gamble today?
So one thing that I had to realize that it was a hard pill to swallow, but that no matter how much money I won, it was never gonna be enough. And like that void that we have in our stomach, that like once I realized that I had denied and denied and denied. Like I'm not cross addicted. Like I'm not switching from one to another because I'm sober. Like I'm not putting anything into my body. I'm not thinking different. Well, I was thinking differently, but like it's not like making me impaired the way alcohol would. So I'm not like, but once I realized that like I'm just trying to fill that hole again, and once I realized that it was the way I viewed money that was keeping me gambling. So I don't know if you asked me what it was for me that kept me gambling, and I should have said that, but it was the money part of it. Like, once I realized how I viewed money was wrong, and like the way I viewed like materialistic things.
How did you view it?
Like I viewed it like growing up, like hockey and everything like that. Like the more expensive the hockey stick, the better you were at hockey, or the cooler you were.
Right. Okay.
The more expensive your shoes were, the cooler you were.
So tying your identity to material things.
Yes. So I did that growing up until I went to rehab for gambling. Like all through sobriety, I still did that. And when I went to rehab for gambling, I realized that like no matter what I get, like whether it's the expensive car or whatever that money that I get is gonna buy me, is not gonna fill that void. So like today, when I gave my life to God, I'm getting baptized in January, but I'm a Christian. A lot of people get Catholicism and Christianity mixed up, but I realized that like the only thing I can do to fill that void for myself is God, is to give my life to God and to be a good person. And like all these things that it took a while when I stopped gambling because the dopamine levels were so off, but to like enjoy natural things. But like after I stopped gambling, I started to enjoy things that even when I got sober from alcohol, I didn't even enjoy. Like things that you're supposed to enjoy, like going for walks, stuff like that. Like I didn't find any enjoyment in that because I was still looking for that, that rush or that to fill that void,
Instant
right?
gratification.
And like once I realized that, like I said, no matter what jackpot I hit, or like how much money I get, or like it's never going to be enough for me to I'm always going to keep going until I hit zero.
I heard someone say once on the gambling side, if I won all the money in the world, every single dollar, I would go to Mars and try to win all the money there.
Yeah.
that resonated with me. It's the same thing with drugs and alcohol, right?
Yeah, I heard somebody say that also resonates with me, is like, if I could be like a normal drinker, like I just sit around and drink all day.
Drink all the time.
Like, and that's me. Like
if I could drink normally, I would drink all the time.
And like what you said, like if I had all the money in the world, every dollar, I feel like I would just go to the biggest casino there is, and that's like I would just keep trying to win more.
Yeah.
And yeah, one thing I would encourage people that are struggling with a gambling addiction, is you don't have to ruin everything. Like what, because like before I really dug myself really deep, I knew, and I just thought I could, one more win would pull me out of it, and I could just, like the debt started really low, and like if I could just win like a couple thousand, I could be done, and I would never gamble again, blah blah blah. But like, if you realize that you have a problem, just know that like there are resources out there. I had no idea I could go to rehab for gambling. I didn't even know that. And like there's Gamblers Anonymous. I have a sponsor for GA. I go to GA meetings online now because there's not one in my hometown, but I used to go to one in Windsor. So I would drive an hour to go to it. Fellowship, I encourage people to reach out to those that like people like, not trying to stay humble, but like people like us that make it known that we have suffered with this. Like don't be afraid to ask a question. Because for someone like me or Anthony, like answering your question is gonna not only help us, but it might help you. And the biggest thing for me that kept me like coming back, and what switched me from like I'm gonna keep gambling when I get out of here to like I'm done, was like seeing everything around me. Like I said, I'm still pretty young. I'm 20 years old. So like going in there and seeing like people that were actually losing the house, losing the wife, losing the kids, and all this stuff, like I'm like, if I can picture myself like losing everything, like it's definitely gonna happen, right? And this is proof. People around me, these are people that are like living the same thing that I was living.
They're just 5-10 years more ahead.
Yes, exactly.
I have that same
and
thought.
People, I'm sure you say it to people in recovery, like if you haven't done something, like you're like, oh, like I don't really like to say numbers that much, but I did today. But like, because you might think, oh, I didn't do as much as that guy did, or I didn't waste as much money as that guy did. But like, you know what I mean? Like, if you haven't done that yet, or sorry, if you haven't done it yet, it's just like you said, yet. It's like, if you go back out, you're going to be that guy that, is drinking. For me, I was like, I'm not drinking hand sanitizer, but if I go back out and it gets bad enough, I sure enough probably will. Or like, I'm not robbing banks, but like, if I need to, or stealing from grocery stores, like I probably would have if it gets bad enough.
I'm good enough at convincing myself that is a good idea, and that is the only idea.
Yes.
So absolutely, I know myself well enough that I can manipulate myself, justify it.
I can justify anything in my head.
Absolutely.
When I was drinking or gambling, I would justify absolutely anything.
Yeah.
But
okay, Logan. New Generation Sobriety. Where can we find you? Where can we find the podcast?
It's on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. I pretty much, the goal is to just try and help the next young person, or anybody really. But for me, when I got sober, especially from alcohol and gambling, I was like, I'm really into recovery-based movies, but I was really looking for a podcast or something where there was just like another young guy with a success story. And I didn't really see too much of it. There are younger guys, but a lot of the guys I'm connecting with are like 10 years older than me-ish, or which doesn't matter. I've realized age isn't a number, or age is just a number. We're all going through the same thing. But
dude, it's important, man. To the guy that's 19, 20 that can't see my life does, I'm married and
Yeah,
this
exactly.
doesn't relate the
That's what it
same
was
way.
for me. Was like,
Keep doing it, man.
was like, I don't know how to relate to these people because, like, Anthony already has the car and the wife and the house. I'm still trying to get all these things. He's trying to not lose them, right? Like, for me, it's like, I want to try and help that person that, like you said, that can't relate to maybe somebody that's 10 years older. Because, like, just because I can kind of sometimes, or I was able to, I found a couple solid guys and I hung around with them and they instilled a lot of knowledge into me. But, like you said, for that 19 or 20-year-old out there that feels like there's no one out there that can relate to them, like I can relate, and I've been there, and I'm no expert, but I'm just trying to give my experience and what I've done throughout my sobriety that like could maybe help the next person. And if I can help one person, that's what I'm trying to do.
That's cool. Love it, brother. Thanks so much.
I
man.
appreciate you.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks for listening. Please help us grow the channel and like, share, and subscribe for more content. The discussions and stories shared on this podcast are for informational and motivational purposes only. This content is not a substitute for professional medical advice, addiction treatment, or therapy. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please consult a licensed physician, addiction specialist, or mental health professional. You are no longer alone.